100 days in hardcore Minecraft. We're back at it again, but this time the whole world is a jungle. I ended up building some really cool things in this video, such as a water park, so be sure to watch all the way through to the end. Welcome to 100 days in hardcore Minecraft, Jungle Edition. Before the video begins, over 97% of people who watch my videos are not subscribed, so if you could just do me a favour and hit that subscribe button, I'd massively appreciate it. And you can always unsubscribe later on if you wish to do so. Thank you guys, and enjoy the video. As the first day began, I decided to head straight to the nearest tree and grab some wood. The main source of food in the jungle is melons, so I grabbed some scattered about the place. I then came across an abandoned nether portal, and next to it there was a chest with some fairly average loot inside, so I grabbed it and carried on. I spotted this little island in the middle of a lake and decided to make it my house. The next thing I did was craft a wooden pickaxe and mine myself some cobblestone. I headed further down into the mine and came across some coal, as well as a cave where I ended up getting a music disc thanks to a creeper. I just spent the night clearing out the island, flattening it down. Day 2. I set up a small base in the mountain next to the island. I headed down into the mine today again to try and get some new materials. After finally reaching Y11, I had to head back to the surface to get some more tools. I actually found my first vein of diamonds today, luckily finding 8, which is very cool and I'm happy about it. The next thing I came across was yet more diamonds. Alright, this was actually incredibly lucky. They were about 15 blocks away. I don't know what happened here. Day 3. So today started while waiting for some iron to smelt in order to get full tools and armour. In a jungle, sheep are very rare to spawn, so I decided to venture out and try and find one. I did end up coming across some cows, so it would be very useful, but they seem quite common, unlike sheep. I also topped up my supply of melons and thought that I might have to hunt some spiders in order to make a bed rather than shear a sheep. Next to the base, I tried to clear out some trees to try and get some sheep to spawn. By night, I got a relatively big area done and decided to head down into the mine to try and gather some more materials overnight. Day 4. Today, I was preparing to go on a big adventure to try and bring back a sheep. But before, I wanted to set up a pen so the sheep can live somewhere. After a surprisingly short search, I ended up finding a sheep and brought him back to his pen. I also did a bit of land repair since a few creepers might have exploded. A little while after, I had enough wool to make a bed, so I put it inside the wall to make it look a little bit better. I also started working on the island today. I decided to turn it into a farm because watermelons weren't the best source of food. Day 5. Today, I firstly decided that I needed a ton of wood. It was also a good way of clearing more space. The next thing I made was a bucket to add some water to the middle of the farm. I still needed a lot of seeds in order to fill the farm, so that's where I headed next. And eventually, I did what I gathered to the farm. I needed a better way to reach the farm, so I started working on a path. I want to make more farms, such as a sugarcane farm next to it. Day 6. I needed more wood so I can make the sugarcane farm next to the wheat farm. I started expanding the path and started veering off to make the sugarcane farm. I went with a very similar design as before, however I needed dirt in order to grow the sugarcane. Day 7 started by finishing off the sugarcane farm. It would hopefully grow from now on. After this, I started covering over a pond beside the sheep farm and set to work setting up a pen for some cows. And eventually, made the exact same pen for the sheep as well. And by night time, I had 2 cows inside the pen. Day 8. Today, the farms were starting to grow, so I replanted with some of the seeds. And with the wheat, I wanted to breed the cows. The next thing I wanted to do was try and figure out where I wanted to build my house. Now I know I wanted a tree house, but I didn't really want it as my main house. However, before I can build a house, I need a ton of wood. And with this wood, I started expanding the path towards the island that I wanted to make the tree house in. Day 9. I wanted to try and expand my diamond collection today, so I headed down to the mine. And expand my diamond collection is something I managed to do. I ended up coming across a cave with lots of ore, which I mined. By the end of yesterday's mining trip, I found 20 diamonds in total, and I started expanding my path over to the treehouse island, as well as clearing out the island with some shears. Day 11. It started by sorting out the staircase leading up to the island, and I used some bone meal in order to grow my own tree to be able to build on. I decided to bring out my inner Spider-Man and climb up the tree and clear out one of the branches up here to use as a lookout spot. After this, I went back to the farms and used the wheat to breed the cows. I also decided I want to adjust the cave a little bit and potentially make it into my main house. So I started mining to make more room. Day 12. Today, I carried on mining out the cave. I wanted to turn it into a sleek, modern designed house with a large window looking out upon my farms. For the house, I needed some glass, so I headed over to the local pond and grabbed some sand. This is how the house was looking at this point, but I wanted to have a door that didn't go directly into the house, and this wall seemed fitting, so I digged out a little corridor heading into the house. Day 13. I needed to push the house further back to make more room so I could fit some more chests in. A new friend appeared next to come say hi to the sheep. He didn't have a lot of useful trades, and for some reason, he disappeared. Anyway, after he left, I now had some llamas, so I tied them up next to the cow pen. By the end of the day, I had this really B-Tech looking chest set up, but it was going well. The windows were all fully set up now. Day 14. Today was chest organising day. I spent a long while doing this because it really annoys me when my chests are unorganised. After this, I went to harvest all the wheat and with the spare seeds, went to try and find some parrots. I found some parrots and amazingly managed to tame one in one seed, which is incredible compared to this. I mean, it's not that rare to say it's meant to be a 1 in 3 seeds tame a parrot. I started setting up a place for the parrots to live by the end of the day, and they seemed happy. Day 15. Today, I finally wanted to go to the Nether. My plan was to make an abandoned portal, but that had been fixed. It was going to be right next to the sheep pen. The rest of the day was a long day spent gathering obsidian. Day 16. Today, I finally finished the portal. There wasn't a nether fortress in sight for the moment, but I didn't have any interest in going to find one at the moment. I also came across some glowstone that I took because, let's be honest, what are the pigmen going to use for it? So it's mine now. I'll find a use for it. Day 17. The first thing I did when I got home was set up the new lights around the house because they look just so nice. However, we do have a problem. I only have 1 sheep. I need to fix that sometime soon. But before we can do that, I need to finally craft an enchantment table. But I'm nowhere near getting the bookshelves needed to make a level 31. I also decided to make a jukebox, and some might say it wasn't the best use of a diamond. Well, it'd probably be right, but hit all you want in the comments. I'm doing my thing. Day 18. Today, I wanted to try and do something with the treehouse again. I didn't actually end up doing a lot, apart from clearing out some of the leaves on one of the layers. At this point, I was basically trying to waste time, so my farms would grow to get bookshelves. However, I did want somewhere for the enchantment table to live. I basically wanted a floating room for it to live inside of. It was going to be a very basic house, but I don't know. I do kind of like it. Day 19. I carried on with the roof of the new building today. I decided to go with leaves because it looks more natural. It looked fairly good right now, but it just needed a few extra details, so I added some vines to the other side. Day 20. Today, I wanted to try and expand my parrot army, so I ventured off into the forest to try and collect some. I ended up finding a few, but it was taking a while. However, I ended up coming across a jungle temple, which was cool, and I even found 3 diamonds inside, which was actually really good. It took me a long while to get home, but I eventually got there. Day 21. I wanted to make some out of the sticky pistons I got from the jungle temple, so I decided to go with a secret base underneath the house. I got it set up to a sort of extent, but the lever isn't very hidden at the moment. I'm sure I'll fix that in the future. I started mining out a small room underneath the base for the vault. I ended that day by yet again sorting out the farms and breeding the cows. Day 22. The first thing I did was grab some wood because I wanted to set up another small island in order to make the first to-do list. I feel like there might be a slight imbalance between the amount of cows and the amount of sheep. I'll probably have to fix that. Day 23. Today I headed back to the nether to grab some gold and some quartz for the vault underneath the house. After making a few bridges to make the nether safer to traverse, I headed back to the overworld and started working on the vault. I made 4 pillars in each corner. It looks quite nice. Day 24. I carried on working on the vault room by adding some lights to the corners of the pillars. I was still in need of some quartz, so I headed to the nether and mined some in order to finish the room. I decided it was unfair that the sheep had so much room compared to the 50 cows in the same amount of space. This is miles more fair now. Next, I sorted out the walls of the vault. It just needed some blocks for the roof and the ceiling, but I wasn't sure what to do with that yet. Day 25. The day started by sorting out the farms and chatting with the cows. I decided to treat myself with some cookies, which might be a worse food than melons. I don't actually know. I grabbed some lava from the nether to put next to my nether portal to make it look cooler. I had a close encounter with a piglin, which wasn't fun. Anyway, at least the portal looks a bit better now. Day 26. I was back at the to-do list today and adjusted a few things. My plan for the day was to try and find another sheep, so I set off into the wilderness. After a long while, I finally came across another sheep. As you can tell by my mouse wiggle, I was excited and instantly started heading home. By the end of the night we returned, but only just. Day 27. I was starting to run low on food again, so I had one main solution for that, and I might have accidentally killed my parrot. After that disaster, I went to try and craft bookshelves. I had enough for 12, which wasn't quite enough, I needed a few more. So I decided to go into the wild and hunt down some native cows. When exploring, I came across this lagoon area behind the house, and I thought it was really cool. And I didn't know what to put here, but I don't know, I just started clearing out some of the trees. I decided this would be a great place for another house, or something fun to build. Day 28. Today was another hard day of working clearing out the lagoon area. I was thinking about turning it into a water park, which would actually be really cool. Day 29. By this point, I had so much wood, I chopped down the majority of the main trees, so I set to work on some of the bushes. Day 30. At this point, I was drowning in wood, and I needed a big project to use all the wood. I was thinking about making a big tree that the water slides would come out of and go into the lagoon. I decided to make a small base in the clearing in the forest. I I did a bit more lumberjacking today, and I actually found the last parrot colour I needed. Let me know what your favourite colour of parrot is in the comments. Day 31. I wanted to do something different today. I just wanted to finish the enchanting table. So I started off by killing some cows. However, quickly I made an overground path to the jungle. My plan for the future was to tunnel through the mountain. I finally had enough for 15 bookshelves, which is enough to get level 30 enchants. And as it did work, I decided to craft a bunch of diamond items to enchant. I ended up enchanting my axe because every other enchant was useless. I also enchanted my pickaxe. I also decided to add a fireplace to the vault with soul sand so it was blue. I actually really like the look of it. Day 32. The first thing on the agenda was to grab some quartz because I wanted it to the floor and the roof of the vault. After a bit of a fight with a ghast, I eventually brought him down. It was a bit of an awkward fight. This was how the vault was looking at this point. I'd expand my gold block collection in the future, but this is all I had for the moment. Day 33. Today, I headed down to the mines to try and finish off my diamond armour. I came across caves, mobs, and lava pools, and yet no diamonds were in sight. Until... I know. Really? No diamonds? What a waste of a day. Day 34. I wanted to do something with the corridor leading to my house, but I didn't really know what. I enchanted my chestplate and got... wow, what incredible enchants. That possibly couldn't be worse. I decided that I should renovate my whole house instead of just the corridor. I wanted a modern house design, so it would stand out in the jungle, made out of white concrete. I made a chest to collect the materials needed, but I realised I did need to find a significant amount of bone meal, which would be easier if I was in the nether, so... Day 35. I was grabbing some gravel. Alright, I needed gravel as well as bone meal, but after that I grabbed some sand, because that's something else I needed for concrete. But then after that, on day 36, I grabbed some bone blocks. And when returning home, I crafted white concrete powder. If you guys don't know, the way to solidify concrete powder is with water, so I think this is the most efficient way. I had a silk touch pickaxe by this point, so I decided to be efficient and silk touch the glass. Day 37. Today was moving out day. I was clearing out the old house, so I could build all the new things I needed. I then started by making the new house out of the concrete. At the end of the day, I had the corridor done, and the basics of the main house. I did want to make the window taller, which means I have to make the house taller. That was for tomorrow though. Day 38. Today started by mining away some of the mountain that blocks the view from the windows. I also made the window one taller so you can see more out of it. I started installing a floor at the new house of stone bricks. As well as this, I started adding the window back, but this time it's in panes. Day 39. The house really needs to get bigger, so I started expanding it further back. I also started tunneling through the mountain and came very close to the lagoon. The base was coming along pretty well. I added some white concrete to the roof and started transforming the new part of the base. Day 40. Today, I was going to finish off the rest of the main part of the house. As well as this, I set up the chest part of the house. I would never fill all these chests, but I'd give it a good go. Day 41. So I kind of forgot there needs to be a 1 block gap between the top chests and the roof for them to open. I went through and labelled all the chests because my plan was to spend the day moving stuff back into the house. Day 42. I finally finished moving all the items about after a long few days of getting it sorted. I also decided to mine out a small bedroom to sleep in because I didn't really want to make a dedicated room for this. I also added some lights to the floor as well as doing a bit of changing around with the secret entrance. So I finally hid the lever. Can you see it? Can you guess where it is? Alright, it's behind the chests. Day 43. Today started by adding stone trim to the edge of the lagoon to give it more of a pool aesthetic. I also did a beach so I could set up some sunbeds, which should hopefully look quite good. I spent the rest of the day flattening out the land as well as setting up the kids' pool out of another smaller pool of water. Day 44. The next big project I wanted to do was set up a large tree so the water sides can come out the side and into the main pool and potentially into the kids' one as well. I started construction as a really basic looking circular shape, but I soon realised it looks horrific, so I destroyed the last full day of work and started it again on day 45. It began by tearing down the old tree and began work on the new one. The purpose of this way of building is to have standalone points and then connect them together. It gives it more of a natural feeling. It was coming along fairly well, it just needed a few adjustments. By the end of the day, I had the base structure down. Day 46. I carried on the same ideas a day and it was coming along well. It looked alright, but it was looking more of a trophy than a tree. I'd sort that tomorrow, it needed a bit more flattening. Day 47. I carried on going further out because what's the worst that could happen? I also chopped down some trees to get some more wood, because surprisingly I was running low. After that, I carried on working on the tree, and at this point, it was definitely looking more like a trophy. It needed to be less steep on the sides. Day 48. Started by yet again more wood gathering, and then wood placing. But this time it was a surface. I wanted 2 layers inside the tree that the sides could come down from. And at night, a visitor came to visit. Yeah, that sounds right. Anyway, he didn't have anything good, so I just let him go on his way. Day 49. Today, the roof got more attention, as it's probably the one thing that makes it either look good or bad. It looked alright to be fair, but it just needed stuff hanging down like more leaves. So I went to gather some vines and put them on the side of the tree. The halfway mark. Day 50. I finally decided to do something different and headed down to the mine to try and get some more diamonds for armour. Yet again, I didn't actually end up finding a whole bunch apart from ores and lapis. I checked under lava pools, in caves, and still no diamonds. Day 51. Today, I was finally determined to get some more diamonds, so I headed back down. I mined for the full day until I came across this one cave. And bang, 7 diamonds, which wasn't bad. Day 52. So my recording for this day got lost or didn't record. Alright, I forgot to press record. Anyway, all I did was gather a few more diamonds and enchant my boots for these enchantments, which weren't the best. I'd probably end up redoing them at some point. Day 53. Today, I did remember to press record, and all I did today was gather some quartz in the nether with my silk touch pickaxe to break in the overworld, so I could repeatedly do level 30 enchants. Day 54 was another day entirely spent doing enchanting stuff. I crafted a grindstone and removed the enchantments off my boots because all I really needed was feather falling or protection. However, I did enchant a pickaxe with efficiency 4, and I would combine it with my silk touch one, so I crafted an anvil and combined them. Day 55. I wanted to test out my new pickaxe and headed down to the mine. I came across some diamonds by complete accident. They were hid behind some iron. Well, I gathered 11 diamonds and decided that was enough mining for a long time. I also decided I want more sheep pens with different colours inside, so it'd be more efficient than dyeing them all after. Day 56. I carried on clearing away space behind the nether portal for the sheep to live. I cleared away bushes, trees, and even flattened the land. This would be the rough layout for the pens, but I didn't have enough fences at this point. I'd carry on. Day 57. I decided to let all the sheep free and lead them over in pairs to separate pens. Next, I needed the dye so I could breed the sheep and start collecting their wool. I decided to go with orange, yellow, red, and blue because, I don't know, they're the coolest colours. Let me know your favourite wool colour in the comments. I ended the day by adding more gold to the gold collection. Day 58. Today I headed back to the water park since I've done everything to prepare to build it now. I decided that the land really needs to be flattened before I build anything. As well as this, I decided to move the kids' pool because it was in the way of the entrance to the park. I spent the rest of the day clearing out the land, and by night, it was looking better. Day 59. I still had some more terraforming to do today, as well as mining out the new kids' pool. I decided to give it a deep end because there was going to be a slide going into it. After that, I decided to focus more on the adult area. I wanted a full-size bar next to the beach. And I also sheared the sheep. Day 60 began by gathering a ton of wool from the sheep. I decided that I should probably make the tunnels to the water park look better, because at the moment it looks very bare. I wanted the tunnel to be a 3x3, so I didn't want it to feel claustrophobic, and I wanted to make it out of white concrete like the rest of the house. But for the moment, I just put the floor in, made out of stone bricks. Day 61. I was yet again going to say hi to the sheep and steal all of their wool. But the main objective today was to collect things needed to make the concrete, so I went to get some sand. Day 62. I had a lot of spare gravel, so I crafted the concrete powder and set to work setting it in water. As well as this, I also started putting it in the tunnel. Day 63. This was the tunnel after a hard day of work, and for some reason, I tried to install these really ugly looking lights. But I quickly raised part of the ceiling by 1 and added them in the roof. This looked a lot nicer. I also added an entrance to the water park, and I mean it looked fairly good, but it didn't really match the park's aesthetic. Day 64. Farm and sheep. I hope you guys understand the morning routine now. I also thought I should fix the dirt spiral mess inside the tree, so I replaced it with some really safe looking stairs. The tree was coming along well, it just needed some more details, so I added some vines. Day 65. The floor in the treehouse was the next thing to be improved when I replaced it with wood planks. That caused me to be low on wood, so I grabbed some for a project tomorrow. Day 66. I put down the foundations of the bar and the toilet that I wanted to build. It wouldn't be anything special, but I just wanted to add some more buildings and other things around the water park. It didn't look bad, but it didn't look incredible. Day 67. I had some decorations around the place, such as adding sunbeds. I'd say they actually look quite nice with the multicoloured design. I wanted to add some more around the park. Next, I started the construction on the blue slide. Now guys, please don't be mean, because I've never tried to build a water slide before, because I don't know who's even tried to build one before. Day 68. It actually looked relatively good. It just needed water. I decided to try and do another one. The red one was going to be the fast slide. That looks bad. It looks like it's got severe back problems. See, that's better. I even added white to the design. Day 69. I carried on with the rocket slide. It actually looked fairly good. I actually like this one. Oh god, the orange slide. The orange slide is always the one you go down the rubber ring. My plan was to be able to go down on a boat, so it had to be quite big. Day 70. I was still working on the orange slide. It just doesn't look good. Like, the other one looks alright, but this is horrific. It just needs to be changed. Day 71. It didn't actually look too bad at this point. It sort of recovered it. So I decided with my newfound bravery to make a loop-the-loop. Yes, it's not going to work, but it's worth a try. I started building it by forcing 2 parts together and, well... Day 72. What the heck is that? That's not even a circle. So I went with my shears to make some adjustments. Somehow, it's become a square, but it's more of a circle than the last one was. From this angle, it actually looked quite good. So maybe, just forget about the last design. Day 73. Today, I carried on with the details around the park by adding a path, as well as setting up some more sunbeds. I decided to clear some land, so I could fit more sunbeds in, because the more people you can fit in, the more money your park earns. Day 74. I decided to have some kind of order in the sunbeds. There was different sections, as in colour, for different age ranges. So I've had enough for a water park for the moment, so I'm guessing you guys have as well. I decided to do something else and work on the treehouse for a little bit. But first, I wanted to do some enchanting, so I grabbed some quartz in the nether. I ended up gathering a lot of quartz, so hopefully a few level 30 enchants. Day 75. This started by heading off to enchant something with all the quartz I have. After mining a ton of silk touched quartz, I enchanted my boots. Because of all the quartz mining, I was forced to repair my fortune pickaxe. Day 76. I was still yet to actually build any of the tree houses, so I decided to do some prep work for it. After clearing away some of the bushes, I got distracted again and realised I wanted to get some netherite. So I spent the rest of the day gathering wool to do so. Day 77. Whilst the sheep were regrowing their wool, I had one extremely important thing to build, and that was a banana boat. Alright, it's not finished yet, let me get some more wool. Anyway, I finally had enough wool, so I headed to the nether. But had a bit of a disaster with a ghast, as he shot out my portal. Luckily, with my pure skill and good looks, I managed to... I'm not sure how good looks are relevant, but... Anyway, I managed to relight the portal. After that, I started digging my way down to the bottom of the nether. Finally reaching a low enough level, I set up a little base down there to start mining out. Day 78. I kept on looking for ancient debris, and I was getting really unlucky until I struck gold, and found one. Yeah, this isn't going very well. I'm running out of beds as well. What a waste of a few days. I didn't find anything else. I headed back. Day 79. I did actually end up getting a fair bit of quartz out there. So yet again, I was back to mining quartz and enchanting. This time, I enchanted my helmet, which actually got incredible enchant. I spent the rest of the day just doing general tasks, such as breeding the cows. Day 80. That's a banana boat. Come on, we all know it's the best part of the ocean. Oh, yeah, it's a water park. No. I also decided to sort out the toilet since, well, at the moment, you can't really go to the toilet. Ignore the window in the door, as well as the very limited facilities inside the toilet. Day 81. I started by putting tables next to the sunbeds for extra detail, as well as extending the hedge around the outskirts of the park. And today was the day that I'd finally sort out the tree houses. I started by adding platforms on the top of the two trees, and then adding a path to link them. Day 82. I started by grabbing some more wood for the actual houses themselves. I also converted another nearby tree into a platform, so this would be a third house. This is how it was looking by now. It was looking good. Day 83. I really wanted some blue torches, but for that you need soul sand. I headed to the nether and collected some. I decided to turn these into lanterns and replace the orange ones in the main path with them. So the main path would be blue and everything else would be yellowy orange. Actually, I don't know how much I like them. Day 84. Today, I was getting ready to build the houses on top of the tree houses. So I didn't really do a lot apart from sort out the cows and gather wood most of the day. I also started construction on the house, but that was a job for another day. Day 85. I tried a few designs, but I wasn't a big fan of this, so I went for a very basic design. I basically wanted the same design on all three houses. It was quite similar to the enchanting room design. Day 86. I realised at this point I'm going to struggle to get villagers, so I decided to try and make a place for them to live, if I ever do get them. But I ran out of wood making the tree houses, so I grabbed some more and headed back. I finished construction on the last house, and did a few bits of tidying up before it looked really good. Day 87. Now that the treehouse is complete, I decided to collect a ton of wood for the villager project. I wanted to have a ton of houses that were really closely packed together, so I could fit a ton of villagers in, but they could all have their own houses. It's hard to explain what I wanted, but I'll show you the rough idea in paint. I'm guessing you can tell that this is roughly the lake. It's not a great drawing, but it'll do. I'll start expanding the main pathway towards the villager area. I basically wanted 2 or 3 streets with lots of houses on them. So I set to work on the pathway. Day 89. I wanted to make a test house to see if I liked the design. And if I did, I'd make more of them. It was a really basic design, but I kind of liked it. So I started on more. The plan was to have 3 streets with 3 houses on each side. And the middle house would be a staircase that leads up to the town's houses on the 2nd floor. Day 90. I was still in need of more wood. It was going to be an extremely expensive project, so there might be a lot of wood collecting. I also started on the 2nd floor of the houses. As well as expanding the main platform outwards, I realised it would look better if I had houses going around the side of the courtyard instead of through the middle. I also wanted a park area in the middle, made out of grass. Day 91. I wanted the park to be a rough design, but I had a trail of dirt to the shore, so hopefully that would spread. I also started working on this side of the courtyard today. This would be a complete mirror of the other side. Day 92 and 93. So I might have lost the files for the last 2 days, but basically all that happened is I built the back side of the courtyard, which I decided to make into 2 big apartments that were multi-layered. Day 94. Started by venturing off to try and get some more sand for the glass. I found a pond and just took all of theirs. This is what the bigger apartment looked like as I fitted the windows in. I also started on the roof today. I interconnected the roofs because I felt like the bushes would eventually connect in real life. so it'd look better. Day 95. I carried on the roof today. It wasn't anything special at this point, but it was coming along well. I spent the rest of the day adding extra details. Alright, I really don't know where these recordings are going, but this is what I spent the full day doing. Just adding a few extra details to the town to make it look a bit more homely. Day 97. Now that I had the whole village completed, I wasn't sure what to do for the last few days. I did a little bit of gunpowder for the fireworks show, but I didn't have tons. I decided to take the rest of the day off and go relax in the water park. The orange slide is always the best at water parks, so I decided to test mine out, and well, it didn't really work, did it? At least the fast one works. Well, it's not exactly fast though, you just fall down. Day 98. I decided that the nether needs some more love today, so I headed over. I started by clearing out an area for a nether base to be. I had a fight with a ghast that I eventually won, but it took some time. By the end of the day, this is how the base was looking. It wasn't anything special again. Day 99. It's normally a tradition to bake a cake on day 100 to celebrate, but I didn't have any eggs, so I went on a desperate rush to try and find some. I came across a chicken who refused to lay an egg and I couldn't be able to wait. But of course there needs to be a fireworks show. I got working behind the to-do list to try and set it up, and by the night time we got it done. Day 100. The final day, time to celebrate, so I decided to go back to the water park and go down the kids slide, which was actually probably the best one to use. I decided to move the llamas to their new home in the village, and soon after, it was time for the fireworks show. Thank you guys so much for making it this far into the video, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. And if you guys didn't know, I've been streaming here on YouTube. I'm also going to start streaming other games on Twitch. Here's my Twitch link. I would love to see as many of you guys out there as possible, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.